Well, hello there. We are back. I hope you all had a wonderful summer. I know that I certainly did. But it's been a while. It's been a hot minute. It feels like it was only yesterday, really, that we wrapped up season 1 of the podcast. So I can't quite believe that it's been 15 whole weeks since we last chatted. How time flies. I've missed you. I know you've missed me. I can just tell. You don't need to say it. But here we are, season 2. And season 2 promises to be bigger and better than season 1, with many more interesting conversations about scent with fascinating people. In fact, if I were to rename this podcast, I think I would call it Interesting Conversations About Scent with Fascinating People, because that's exactly what it is. But I think we can all agree that making sense makes sense is perhaps a bit catchier. So we will stay with that, shall we? My guests this season are plentiful, and I'm really excited to share them with you. We've got brand founders and perfumers and content creators and more across a whole heap of episodes on a range of smelly subjects, from bespoke fragrance to technology, art, and so much more. It's going to be a really fantastic and fascinating season, and I can't wait to share each one of those episodes with you over the coming weeks. So I'm not going to delay any further. I'm not going to ramble on. I'm just going to get to it and kick off the season and share that wonderfulness with you. So let's do that then, shall we? Should we just get into it? Fantastic. Glad you are all on board. And we are starting strong with our first episode. My guest today is none other than Marc-Antoine Barrois, a couturier who has serendipitously found himself in the role of perfume maker. He works exclusively with the Givaudan perfumer Quentin Bisch to create bold and unique fragrances with a sense of whimsy and wonder. Now, through our conversation, I was really struck by how Marc-Antoine has such a distinct vision, but also a really strong and clear set of creative values, which really shine through in his work. You know, we're in this world of fast fragrance. I think I read somewhere that there was 8,000 fragrance launches last year. That's a lot of olfactory noise to cut through. And Marc-Antoine stands out as someone who creates perfumes with purpose and meaning. He's not creating just for the sake of creating or for the sake of pleasing the bottom line or pleasing business. His brand doesn't follow a set release schedule. He's only launching fragrances really when they're ready and when there's something to say, which I think is quite admirable in this world of fast fragrance. Marc-Antoine Barrois is a brand where authenticity and connection, as well as olfactory beauty, are key. Now, as expected, we have a really insightful chat about his work, so let's get straight to that. But before we dive into that and into the wonderful, whimsical world of Marc-Antoine Barrois, let's hear a quick word from our sponsors. This episode of Making Sense Makes Sense is sponsored by Carium. Now, listeners will know that I'm all about making fragrance easy and accessible. It's my view that everybody should be able to enjoy it without any unnecessary barriers or complexities. So I'm here for anything that makes the process of exploring fragrances easier. And Carium are on the same page, using a pioneering AI-powered fragrance discovery experience created in Japan in 2019. They offer an entirely new way to explore fragrance intuitively, without the distraction of branding or packaging or notes. Instead, they translate scent into language. The Scent Sommelier device provides an immersive experience in which the algorithm interprets instinct, information blossoms, and a signature scent is found, harnessing state-of-the-art hardware, software, and AI for a personalized journey. And that journey is customer-led. The words you use and your personal associations drive the experience, making it tailor-made to the individual, with Carium's large language model at the heart, driving you to find your next favorite fragrance. Carium the Scent Sommelier launched in the UK this summer and can be found in Selfridges on Oxford Street as part of the Famine counter, and also at the Richmond fragrance boutique Parfum La Danse. So why not pop in and see how Carium's the Scent Sommelier can guide you on your fragrance discovery. Marc-Antoine, thank you for joining me on Making Sense Make Sense. I've been following your work for a while now, and I'm genuinely so taken aback by how novel and unique and innovative it is. So I'm really excited to be talking about perfume with you today.
Thank you. I'm really happy to talk with you today too.
Thank you. One thing I've noticed is how there's often a sense of whimsy and childlike wonder with your work. Obviously, your first fragrance takes inspiration from a children's novel, takes its name partly from a planet in that novel. And your boutiques, they're like stepping into a child's adventure. They're really fun. Was fragrance something that was quite formative for you when you were growing up?
I don't know if it's been formative. I just know that fragrance for me was some part of what made me dream. I dreamt with. I grew up in a family where my father was a teacher. My mother was like working at home and doing everything at home, raising kids. And I wasn't into luxury. And though perfume was a way for me to escape sometimes and to smell something that was more refined on people in places, and I associated fragrances very often with some of those memories. And so today, when people ask me about what are my olfactive memories, it's plenty of those linked to very different moments, because it was like those kind of moments of dream out of my life to. In a way, very surprisingly, to escape from my childhood, to go to a world which I dreamt of, which was the world of adults, where I felt more comfortable. And now, as an adult, I feel like I'm a kid in my head, and I try to escape the world of adults to go back to my childhood.
I love that. And I think it's so beautiful. That's the wonderful thing about fragrances. It's kind of this backdrop to all of our important memories. There is smell as an added layer there, isn't there?
Exactly, and it's when you travel a lot, you dream of teleportation, of thinking, I would like to go from one place to another, and very very quickly, so I could visit more places, visit more partners, and do more meetings. But in real life, it's like perfume is like the best way to teleport yourself in memories, in times, and so much. It even brings back to life some people that are not with us anymore. When I smell someone in the street that wears Arpége of Lanvin, I'm within 2 seconds, and during the time I follow the person in the street, it's like if I'm handing hands with my grandmother, and she's there beside me, and we can have a quick talk, and that's just magical. So it's perfume as this kind of whimsical magic. It's just wonderful.
And that's something that really comes across, that dream-like whimsy, that magic. I feel when I smell a fragrance of yours, it does feel magical.
Yes, because everyone has their own definition of fragrance, and everyone associates fragrance with something different. And I do fragrance, but I'm really lucky because I've met someone to make fragrance with, which is with Quentin Bisch, with the perfumer I work with, who has the same understanding, or at least that really has the same creative vision on perfumes. And so I see perfumes as an olfactive signature, as the signature of someone, or the signature of a moment, the signature of something. So we need to seek for this uniqueness and this magic in every fragrance we release. It's like, and we have the strength to be totally free of doing whatever we want, and to create something out of nowhere, like some people have said, like creating memories of the future. But it's really, we create fragrances not as businessman or as like as a simple perfumer. We just create it out of an artist mind, and both Quentin and I have artist minds.
Yeah, absolutely. And you started your career in fashion and couture, and I know that's something that you continue to do as part of your maison. What inspired you to create fragrances? What led you to taking that left turn?
Well, I started my career, people know me as starting my career with fashion, but I did study fine arts before. So I started, basically, the first thing I did was doing a painting exhibition when I was a teenager. So it started with art, and I think I continue all my life within arts. I see fashion not as fashion. I see fashion as a creative way to create garments, and an artistic way to create garments. And so that's one of the reasons why it took me so much time to do ready-to-wear, and I was focusing on couture. It's because I felt like every piece should be unique. So when I came into perfumery, it was like just another medium to create different things. And I thought, and I refused many times to create a fragrance until I met Quentin Bisch. It was not super renowned at the time, but there was really, as I said, this creative osmosis where I felt like I was meeting a twin brother, a creative twin brother, and I could really create a perfume as an art and not as what everyone were doing, maybe a bit different, and every brand has their own DNA. I thought with Quentin Bisch I can express my own DNA and my own difference.
Yeah, because I suppose with lots of fashion brands, it is a marketing exercise, it's a business exercise, isn't it? It's about creating something that is an entry point into the brand. It's not an emotional, artistic endeavor.
Yes, and that's also the way to create a fragrance. When you come to a perfume saying, well, I made a definition of my clientele, I'm the brand X and my clients are Y, Z, and B, and so we have to talk to those people, we have to put an imaginary for those people, and you start building a brief for basically talking to your own clients as something very different from the point that, like, my way of creating for couture or for perfumes or for jewels, it's what do I like? I do create for myself before to create for others. There is one sentence that says that in order to love other people, you need to love yourself. And for me, I really consider that in order to do something that other people will love, I need to do something that I love. If I'm not proud of everything I'm doing, like, why would people like it? Like, maybe there will be some weird people who would like what I don't like myself. But for me to continue after almost more than 15 years of creating of creation, if I have to continue to do this and to be with the same energy, with the same enthusiasm, I need to be proud of everything I do. It goes on the creative way, but it also goes on the sustainable way. It's for everything I do, my independence and my freedom to do what I want is really important.
Yes, that authenticity as well, I think, is really important, isn't it?
Yes, it's written on the doors of my stores, exceptional, sincere, and respectful perfumes. I did not put the word authentic at the beginning because when I opened my first boutique, I thought those words were really defining my way to focusing on creating exceptional pieces, creating exceptional fragrances. Sometimes that was what I explained when I said, well, exception. I thought at the beginning that beauty was quite common, but coming to Paris, seeing that so many people, so many brands, they're just doing things for marketing, for buzz, for thing like, and sometimes it's just not aesthetic, it's just not beautiful, it's just going to work because it has a beautiful name, because it has beautiful marketing on it. But so I really realized that the beauty was something exceptional, and it was important to put the word on it. And sincere, it's because I do it with my heart. I do everything really for myself before to do it for others, and everything I do becomes a gift to the world. And respectful, because besides respecting my clients by doing the right product at the right price, the right quality, and with the right ingredients inside, with no endocrine disruptors, no preservative, no UV filter, I also do respect the people I work with and the people I meet. I consider that it's really like a global behavior behind the brand, where I don't fear myself to have like a big scandal one day about the brand because I don't treat women correctly. Like, I'm so concerned about, since I have 2 girls now, I even see people in the street like looking at girls, and I'm scared of that, thinking how can people do this. So it's a global point of view. I try to be exemplary and I do my best, but even though at least I'm myself and I can be myself. So this is important. And when you talk about authenticity, those 3 words define authenticity, define what no one can buy, and we can just be ourselves. And I recall that sentence that was told to me by Sarah Endelman years ago. So she was the owner of Colette Concept Store, and she told me, Marc-Antoine, the new cool will be authenticity. And she was ahead of her time. Like, no one in 2016 was talking about authenticity. It was like the moment of big marketing, where the fragrance were the fragrance of the Moschino Pschitz. There was the fragrance of Zlatan Ibrahimovic. There was like all those big fragrances, big trends of celebrities' fragrances. And I was coming like a bit shy with my B683, saying that it takes a name from an asteroid from the book of the Little Prince, because I wanted 2 things. I wanted people to ask the question, what does it mean? Because otherwise, why would they go to the Marc-Antoine Barrois fragrance, beside not knowing that there would be a beautiful discovery and it would be a beautiful fragrance, but also in order to share some of my values and to say, okay, like taking the time and considering that the most beautiful thing is not outside, but it's inside, was something I wanted to share.
And I think people are really craving that authenticity ever since COVID. I think it's that creating genuine connection. And I see that, in the work that I do in the social media space, that the creators that now people really resonate with are the ones that feel real. They're not putting on a pretense.
Yes, and after that, it's totally true. And you see online and you see on social networks, all the content creators I admire are the one that puts so much of them and that really share the life with no filters, which is something I do not manage to do because I've made the choice to protect my private life, to not expose my children, and to say, okay, I'm really happy to talk about my creative work, but I made the choice to respect my husband and my kids, to bring them apart and not to show them on social networks. But I always, and I don't know if I would have been, I'm maybe too shy to be able to share those moments publicly. But still, it's what I admire on people, and being able to share this and sharing the fact that their decisions, their struggles, their questioning about the world can be public and can be shared with people. This authenticity, people are looking for it. It's not even a voyeurism. That it's not people that just quickly want to see what's in the life of people. It's just people want to share more and more. And where social networks have been tearing apart people in real life, because basically people were having friends online which were not real friends, now also brings people together when it comes to authenticity. So it's I think it's a good evolution of it. It makes me friend again with social networks maybe, but it's something I admire too, because I can't do it. I don't manage to do it. I can be very sincere in a podcast. I can be very sincere when I meet someone, when I talk to someone in real life, but it's still hard for me to share this with no filters, and my sense of aestheticism is too important. I like the coherence of everything on the image, and so it's a bit difficult for me.
I can imagine. And you talked about Quentin Bisch earlier. He's your creative partner with your fragrances, and you've really created a true partnership in the way that you work. How did you meet, and what it is about Quentin and his work that resonates so much with you?
We've met through a friend. So it's a friend called Bernardo. He introduced me to Quentin, telling, the two of you. Actually, I had met a few perfumers before, that they were old people, and I had discussed it with Bernardo, and he said, no, but Quentin is an 83. You're an 83 guy, so you should meet. And also he knew that he had a great friendship with both of us. So I thank him for making this connection, because he didn't know it would work or not, but he really made the link between us, and this was like a very beautiful meetings, I think, for both of us. So it's it's the way we've met, and the connections we have is not a connection about everything, because we're not, like, Quentin told me many things that were different, that for example, he is the one who told me how to say no to people. Quentin knows much more how to respect himself than I do, and so he told me one day, he told me no, and he said, he explained me why, and since then I know how to say no to people. But now we have creative connections. We have we both love arts, we both love opera, we both love music. He loves much more music, and is much more talented with me about music. But he is also painting, he has the same, probably is as shy as I am, and in terms of showing the work we do, and I think more than anything is, you don't create a brand like mine without working a lot. So it's I think it's something can be proved that I've been hardworking, and I still do. And Quentin is even worse than me. He's a workaholic. It's like, people say that he's producing a lot of fragrances, but more than that, he's creating accord constantly. Like he told me once, like, Marc-Antoine, you can close your eyes. We discussed this, because I tell him at night I close my eyes, but my brain still works and I still create, and sometimes I wake up and write some ideas or design or draw some ideas. But it tells me, the thing is, me, I can close the eyes, but I cannot close my nose. and during the night, sometimes he wakes up and think, oh, I need to write this because this can be an accord that we could do. And I admire also his assistant, because she's doing like so many trials for him. He's constantly writing new accord, new trials, trying new things. So it's the way to think out of the box is really something that we have in common, and that brings us together. Is like, at no point I'm telling him, oh no, I don't want to take the risk to do this fragrance because I've never smelled it somewhere. Look at Aldebaran, the last fragrance we did. When I smelled it at first in his office, it was part of a few florals I had asked him to develop, and I smelled those accords, which were not fragrances at all at the beginning, and I smelled this accord and saying, well, Quentin, I always said we cannot do a soliflor for ourselves. We need to build a fragrance, cannot be an ingredient, but this is an ingredient I don't know. It's a fragrance I've never smelled anywhere. It's a fragrance by itself. Could we stop there? Because I fell in love with it, and it was just the freedom we have to say to ourselves, if we love it as it is, we can do it as it is. So it changed a little bit. Still, he added a few things and a few little ingredients, but still it remains a soliflor of this accord tuberose.
Yeah, and it's a really bold fragrance.
It's something that do not leave people without an opinion. I think it's a fragrance to be worn. It's quite difficult to appreciate at first because you smell it and your brain keep constantly trying to find the connections to what it reminds you, and it doesn't remind anything. But after wearing it on the skin, after a few moments, I got addicted. I got like it's a mesmerizing fragrance. So for me, it's really, not everyone will like it, but the one who will love it will really fall in love and will not be able to. It's cocaine.
Healthy cocaine.
Healthy one.
I've always thought that being divisive is a sign of a good fragrance in a way, because if it's not divisive, it's not unique, it's not something that's bold. And I think a good sign of a good brand or a good fragrance house is one where you might not like every single fragrance in the collection because they're all saying such different things.
That's exactly what I'm trying to do. Sometimes I got some people who tell me, oh, I really do not like the new fragrance of Marc-Antoine Barrois, and well, it's not made for everyone to like it. And I often say, when I write notes to people, I hope you love it as much as I love it, and not like it, because I don't care about you liking it. I don't care about people liking my fragrances. I just hope they will fall in love with one of those. I'm making those super different. I'm happy, of course, to have some people who love all of my fragrance and they enjoy changing from one to the other. Though it's not the way I made it. I made it so that each one could be the signature of someone. And I'm still wearing B683 after 10 years, and I still love it. And it's part of me. It's part of it feels so comfortable wearing it. And even though after a few minutes I don't smell it anymore, because it became part of me. It became just part of my own smell. It's for me really comfortable to smell, to wear something that is just natural. It's just me.
Yeah, and that's something you want.
I don't try to be someone else.
Yeah,
wearing B683, I'm myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And very strangely, I wore Tilia, which is a wonderful fragrance. Like, it's a bestseller. It's a fragrance, multi-awarded fragrance. I wore it when going to New York for its launch in New York, in the United States, and I felt I was wearing the clothes of someone else. It doesn't belong to me. I love it. It's a wonderful fragrance. I love to smell on other people. If you talk about olfactive memories and olfactive emotions, it brings me so much positive emotion. I love it, but not on me. So it's not made for everyone.
Yeah, I think that's really beautiful in a way. And I'm really curious about how you and Quentin create together. So do you come up with an idea and then brief him, or is it more experimental? He might come to you with an idea, or does it vary?
It does vary very much, but globally, I give him a small input. Sometimes we discuss the input together, like to say, okay, we should go in this direction. After Ganymede, what is our next challenge? And we discuss in which direction do we want to go? What's the starting point, so that it doesn't show me too much trials, too much various trial, which would be super difficult for me to choose within it, and because I'm still, after 10 years of working with him, not able to smell 70 cents in an hour. So I do improve every year, and all the time, it's being able to evaluate more and more fragrances, but I'm not yet to more than 50.
That's still quite impressive.
No, I'm still closer to a dozen. But still, it's impressive, because at the beginning it was really 3 or 4, and after a few years, the nose get trained. But I don't care, because I do have the time, so I can take the time to smell it again, to spend weeks on it. But so I give the input, or we discuss the input, literally after working with B63, Ganymede and Encelade. We had finished Encelade, and we discussed about what next, and we discussed maybe next could be something else than leather, and so we discussed together. So I had a few ideas, but I wanted to hear it from him too, and so to say, why not florals? But my fear about florals was, how do we do it differently? So it's typically, the discussion is exactly this one. As I'd like to go towards florals. I think it brings us together, because both of us have a deep passion for florals and for flowers. Recently, I even received from his mum some seeds of flowers to put in the garden. So it's really something that is part of ourselves. Him from his parents, and me from the meetings I've done in life, and my personal feelings of loving nature. And after that, we discussed, and he tells me, well, Marc-Antoine, florals have not always been worked in a very lightful way, and we could work it in this direction. And anyway, you trust me, Marc-Antoine? Of course, I do trust you, Quentin. So he told me, I'm not going to do something that has already been done, and I'm going to try to do something different. And then he told me, well, your leather are planets, so why don't you do stars now if we do lightful thing? And that was the starting point. 1 year ahead of smelling first trials, I gave him more than 1 year of time to just think, create the accord, choose the accord among what he had done before, to find a few different florals. And among those, I picked one tuberose, I picked one linden blossom, and that was starting point for a fragrance. And then I'm mostly discussing about telling him the emotions, what I do. I do smell a trial, close my eyes, and just tell him what I feel at the moment, to help him go forward to something that is a definitive perfume, or close to a definitive perfume, with my emotions, with what I feel, so that it's going to be something that I like. I need to feed him with my feedbacks, but never with ingredients feedbacks. If I give him the name of an ingredient, I fear that I would drive him in a direction which maybe is not the best direction. When I'm just giving him an energy or an emotions, he still has the full freedom to choose whatever ingredients he feels as a professional, and as a very talented professional, the best way to express.
Yeah, and I think if you've been working with someone for so long and so closely in the way that you do, you create that common language between you, don't you? So that he's able to interpret what you mean when you say certain emotions.
I think he's even able to interpret my silence sometimes. Sometimes he sends me a trial, and I'm not answering during a few days, which is normal because I always take the time. But after a certain amount of days, he tells me, Marc-Antoine, what's happening? What do you not like about that? Or have you worn it on the skin? And he knows also how to sometimes tell me the thing, well, Marc-Antoine, I do believe this is better. And you might not see the difference, because as sometimes Quentin is so precise, sometimes I have the humility to say that sometimes I don't manage to smell the difference between two trials, and I have to tell him, I say, well, I know those two trials are better than the others, but I don't make the difference between the two. Okay. This sometimes happens too. So it's and it's more and more with the time I feel confident, like I don't see why I would not recognize the hard work he does, and the creativeness he puts in the fragrances too on his own. I tell him and I tell to the world, is a true artist. So it's really the meeting between two artists, and the magic is that we work together with such pleasure still now.
And I really like what you say about not guiding him with materials, because I think it's so much more important to talk about fragrance in a way that is emotive, using texture, color, other things that we can use to describe it. Because you wouldn't instruct a painter to use specific paints, would you? You would just say, this is what I'd like you to create, and they would go away and interpret that in their own way.
Yeah.
I can't interview you and not ask about Ganymede. It's so much more than just a perfume. It's a phenomenon. I remember smelling it for the first time, and I really had to sit with it for quite a long time because my brain just couldn't compute what I was smelling. And I think it's one of those rare instances where a fragrance comes along and it's just entirely new. It's entirely unique. It's got a completely different olfactory signature that hasn't existed before.
The way it's been created was quite unique. I think the way we saw this perfume from the beginning, that was really the idea of creating a fantasy of a better ourselves. B683, when we launched B683, Quentin admitted to me and told me, Marc-Antoine, in a way, after discussing with you so much time, I ended up thinking that if I want to do the first perfume of Marc-Antoine Barrois, and if I want to do it, and if I want to make sure that you will like it, I need to do a fragrance for myself. So he told me that. So B683 was a fragrance he made for himself, for himself, thinking, if he likes it, I will love it. If he loves it, I will love it. Because we were so close in terms of seeking the same type of beauty in a fragrance, seeking the same type of elegance, of subtlety, and so on. But in a way, both of us have one kind of shyness. And with Ganymede was the idea of showing to the world a better ourselves, so a fantasy of what we would like to be, and so the way to work on a fragrance which is not defined at all, it's just it's trying to define a fantasy. So defining something that doesn't exist. Us always smiling, us more young, more beautiful, like an ephebe, like Ganymede is. When I found the name Ganymede, I was super happy because when we started working on it, it was not with the name Ganymede. It had no name. It has just the fantasy of a better ourselves. Ganymede is the most beautiful man on earth. Like it's the mythologic, Greek mythologic image of beauty, and this was this beauty we tried to achieve, like this perfect antique beauty that we were trying to achieve. And we took the time to do it. We took 2 years to do it, building the wall stone by stone with absolutely no préjugé on anything. Like, I knew nothing about perfume, basically. It was, I know more and more, but I still continue to consider that my strength is not knowing about all the fragrances and refusing to smell the fragrance of others. When I visit a store, I'm always invited to smell the fragrance of everyone. The success of others, or the new novelties of some others, I'm not interested into that. And it's not because I don't respect other perfumers, it's I don't want to ruin my nose and to ruin my olfactive memories, but by something that is different of what I smell in the street. And so with Ganymede, we were just trying to do this beautiful things out of nowhere, trying with the sole common point that it should be something about leather, but Quentin brought this mineral accord on top of it, making it a mineral leather, and probably on his own with his genius, he brought those super new accord and super new things, super risky in a way, because it did not exist. And with my naivety, does it exist in English? Mm-hmm. Naivety. With my naivety, I loved it, and that's as I when we launched Ganymede, I have no pressure at all. It's like no one knows me. Like, I just launched B683, which has been a success, but it's just a fun game between Quentin and I to create something else we would love together. So there's no really one recipe for this. And the trust between us goes towards, at the end of the creation process, Quentin leaves on vacation, And he tells me, Marc-Antoine, please give me 2 more weeks. I'm going on vacation. My brain is going to be free during 2 weeks. I would like to think about again about it to make sure that we have no regrets. And that's what I keep now for the other fragrances, making sure we have no regrets. So sometimes it takes a long time at the end of the creation process because we want to have no regrets. He came back from his vacation telling Marc-Antoine, forgive me, I have 70 trials for you to try on the desk. I said, no, you can't, no, Quentin, I can't. I cannot do this. I said, no, don't worry. I put family of different things, so you don't have to try 70, but try it, and among each family you can try. So I tried maybe a dozen of family of fragrance. I stopped on one. Out of the family, there were 3 fragrances. Took one, smelled it, and loved it. They were very similar, but one I loved it. Out of 70, I picked the same one as he had picked. And so we knew perfectly that this one was the one. And when he explained me the process he had gone through during his vacation, he told me it's a wall of bricks with ingredients. I brought the wall down and I tried to build it again with the same bricks, but trying to make it more clean.
And now every time he goes on holiday, you get scared that he's going to send you 70 samples to try.
I wish every time he was going on vacation, he was able to send me 70 trials now. No, I hope, I just now pray for him to get some rest, because he needs it. He needs to be much more respected than he is. But still, when we finalize a fragrance, he still has the chance, and this really happened not much later than a few weeks ago, where we saw the fragrance was finished, and he told me, Marc-Antoine, please give me a bit more time, and it's for the best. So I give him, and in the work we do with in the team, the big difficulty we do have is that I don't communicate with my team anything before it's fully finished. So sometimes they're telling me, okay, Marc-Antoine, so we need now to know what we're going to have in 2027. I can't tell you. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to have in 2026. I don't know what we're going to have in 2000. I don't know in advance, and I don't want to tell, we are working on this and this and this, because until the moment it's finished, I don't know if it's still going to take 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years, and I don't want to close a formula because of commercial reason.
Yeah.
Which would be the same way I don't want to discontinue a fragrance. The same way we know now, right on our website, if we have never reformulated any of our fragrances, but if we do one day, we will communicate it here on our website. We were talking about authenticity. Transparency is also really important in our job. So it's part of the respect I own to my customers. So I want the fragrance to be done exactly the way we want, and for both Quentin and I to be super proud of it.
Yeah, because you're not, as a brand, you're not following a set release schedule, are you? You know, brands who like to launch 2 a year or 10 a year or ridiculous amounts a year. Your fragrances come when they're ready.
Yes, I think for me, fragrance, the same way as couture, the same way as jewels, is a form of expression, and I need this to express myself. And I'm not going to shut down. So I'm going to continue to create. But I don't want to talk all the time. I don't want to be always putting a new release. I want to give the time for people to enjoy it. My work is like, it's like if I was a painter and painting one new painting every day, and there's too much on the market and people do not appreciate it anymore. So I do respect everyone with their own business model and with their own, but those are business models.
Yeah.
And I don't have a business model. I just express myself.
Yeah, it's a creative model.
It's a creative model, and I know it's hard, and I know our distributors and our partners in the world are working with other brands that are every year showing them the business model and showing them the business plan, or saying, well, it's going to be 3 release or 2 release this year, and it animates the flow very easily. And I'm sorry, I can't do this. I can be creative. I can be creative on windows. I can be creative on events, on bringing new things. There's plenty of things I still want to do, and And now we're launching ready to wear with white shirt. It's not a perfume, so it doesn't help perfumers, but it helps grow the brand desirability, and it shows different things. It's something I wanted to do. It's another way for me to express myself. The same way, sometimes, like, I know that I would like to do one day soaps, soap bars, solid bars of soaps. Well, it's going to be a way to it's not going to be new fragrances, but it's going to be a new way to get into the people's house and to get into their house with a sustainable way to clean the hand and to appreciate my fragrance. There's plenty of things we can do, and I cherish the fact that I can do what I want. So I don't let anyone guide me. I respect from the moment I say I'm going to do it, I do it, but don't ask me to say I'm going to do it.
And earlier you talked about when you launched Ganymede, there was no pressure. It was all fairly unknown. It was, very different to now, where with every successive fragrance launch, your brand becomes more well known. The fragrances are, you've not just got one, big seller in there. There's quite a few really popular fragrances now. Do you feel that sense of pressure has changed, or do you tune that out?
It had changed a lot after Ganymede. Ganymede, if you remember, people, it's a fragrance that won 2 Fragrance Foundation Awards, which doesn't happen very often. Perfume Extraordinaire is a very big award. It's like the Oscar, the best movie Oscar, and after this is like a movie director is what's going to be the next movie. So there's pressure on our shoulder, and that is one of the reasons why, when we discussed with Quentin, when I came to Quentin, I said, well, Quentin, you told me once that green fragrances are the most difficult fragrance to do and the most difficult fragrance to make a success of. Let's go into it. Because at least if we disappoint people, we will disappoint people in a way that it was difficult, so there's no regret of disappointing people because maybe it was too hard for us. And so we started working on Slad, which at the beginning was with galbanum, and it was very greenish thing. Well, it evolved. It's for me a wonderful fragrance, which is not a green fragrance anymore, but that was the starting point. But the old way to create Ensalade was super difficult for me, and I think for both of us, because there was this pressure that we put ourselves on our shoulder. We should not disappoint. And some people are asking me, when is an extrait of Ensalade coming? It was so difficult to do Ensalade. As we thought about Ensalade at the end when we launched it, that it would be only for perfume connoisseur, like intellectual people of perfume, because it's so refined. The choice of this vetiver and not this one, like choosing a vetiver dry vetiver from India and not a vetiver from Haiti, choosing the right balance between everything. It took 3 years of work, as Quentin has never worked as much on a fragrance as he did on Salad. I'm not saying it was a nightmare, but it was, at the end, not something enjoyable. And in addition to it, it was linked to the moment where my children were born prematured. So it was not a beautiful moment of my life, even though giving life is a beautiful moment. But I can't do an extrait of Ensalade, or at least not now. I might need years before I want to work back on it. So reflecting on that, when we started working with Tilia or with Aldebaran, we said, Ensalade was a success. Ensalade was a success with young people, with teenagers, and not only teenagers, but was a very surprising success. So, and we grew up. I got kids. We passed out of our 40s, the two of us, and so there was absolutely nothing that could harm us anymore, and no pressure anymore for Tilia and for Aldebaran. We are back to the same naivety and the same vision on perfume that we had before with Tilia and Aldebaran. Doing something much more light in our way to work, to really consider again that first of all we need to love it ourselves. And it's not that I don't care about what people think of it. I'm still affected when I see people talking about Aldebaran, saying bad things on Fragrantica or on things. I don't even want to read about it because it affects me. But in a way, I see the commercial success of Tilia, of Aldebaran. It's the best reward I can have. Like, it means that people love it. It's just commercial success is not only sales for me. It means people love it. I'm not interested into the commercial success of a launch. I'm always asking our partners and people to come back to buy it. That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Are people coming back to buy it?
Yeah.
And it's what makes me super happy.
Yeah.
When I read messages of people telling me, oh, no later than this morning in the train, reading a message from an Italian actor saying, I found my perfume within your collection, and I never thought I would find a match like this with the fragrance, and now I feel I have my own fragrance, and I'm already buying my third bottle, and that I'm thinking, wow, I don't do all this for nothing.
No, absolutely. And think of all of the memories and experiences people will have with your fragrances as the backdrop to those memories you're helping them create.
And one of my dream is, as I said, when I was smelling Arpége of Lanvin in the street, when I'm smelling Arpége of Lanvin in the street, or when I'm smelling L'air du temps of Nina Ricci, which reminds me another lady that I've admired a lot, which is still alive, but which I don't see a lot anymore. It recalls me so much memory of them, and those were mentors to me. So those fragrances brings back the memory of a mentor, and I hope one of my dreams is really that sometimes, someday, some people will tell me, well, when I smell this fragrance of yours, or when I smell B63 in the street, it reminds me of my mentor. I think mentoring is really important in life, as I dream to be a mentor to people. I dream to be an example that people would follow. Like I'm always, when perfumers tell me, oh, Marc-Antoine, we got more and more people coming in the store and saying, oh, we are launching a new brand, and we have one fragrance that is like Ganymede and one fragrance that is like Enslad. I feel always a bit sad for them. But I dream of the day that one day someone will enter a perfumery and tell, I created a new brand, and it's a bit like Marc-Antoine Barrois. It's all unique things. It's all something very sincere. That would mean that I would have been able to show that people that taking risk and doing something that is really sincere is the key to success. Is the key to bringing something new to the world of beauty.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think experience is really, really key, because what I've noticed in some of the things that you do, if I walk into your boutique, I mean, we're here in your boutique in London, it's a very dreamy, whimsical space. There's a giant blue rabbit that hangs from the ceiling. I believe his name is Michael. That's what.
Yeah, it's coming from Mary Poppins, like Michael Banks.
That's what your brother Quentin told me. And you've also done the exhibition or the installation at Milan Design Week for Aldebaran. How important is it to you to kind of create those tangible experiences around the fragrances?
Well, if you don't create a tangible experience, just stick to a website. It's even on our website, we try to create a tangible experience. Like when you buy on our website, you get a little note handwritten by Laura or Benjamin or Anne, where people preparing our online sales, and it's important to put some humanity and to create some link within our online sales. But in store, it's super important. It's like what I want is what I'm dreaming of is when people come in the store, they can do the same. They can enter in my life. They can enter in my universe. They can leave their bad thoughts outside. They can leave their issues, their problems outside, and come in a safe zone where they can like just enjoy some magic, enjoy sometimes with their own inner child. Perfume is about emotions. It's about souvenirs. It's about something that is you cannot touch. It's something not rational. It's I don't know. Can you fall in love on Tinder or on a website? I'm not sure. You can fall in love when you meet the person. Can you fall in love with the fragrance in an airport when the fragrances are on the shelf? I'm not sure. I think you can fall in love with the fragrance when you meet someone that tells you about a fragrance, that brings you in the fragrance universe. So that is the reason why it's so important to me to invite people, and it's free to enter our stores, to just come and discover it. It's like it's not only about my fragrances. I'm telling people, if you want to find your fragrance, go try it. Go try different fragrance. Enter all the different fragrance stores, and so it's important. And to me, it's as important as creating a fragrance is. You create a fragrance, and you don't create the experience with it. It's not complete. Even I'm sometimes questioning myself. Like, we create Ganymede, but we don't call it Ganymede. We call it Lady Blue, let's say. And we put a packaging that is just ugly packaging, not aesthetic at all. And we sell it in a store where it's all about mirrors and prostitutes and so on. Would it get the same success? I'm not sure at all.
No.
And nothing against prostitutes, but it's in itself is the imaginary we create on a fragrance is super important. It's like creating a fragrance is not only creating the juice that is in the bottle, it's everything else. Is if you get the best fragrance ever, you put it on a shelf with the best brand name on top of it and nothing else, people will not dream about it. Like, people will not. No. It's creating the desirability, creating dreams.
It's the storytelling, isn't it? It's about creating something that people can, because scent is so abstract for a lot of people. It's about making it come alive and giving it context, I suppose.
Or at least it's helping people to create their own story about the fragrance. Yeah. Because I give names to my fragrance which do not refer to anything that we know and that we can put an image on, so that I can tell my story. I can tell what I feel about the fragrance that I've created, but I can also leave the space of imagination for my clients to interpret it their own way and to make it theirs.
Yeah. Ultimately, you create it has a point of inspiration, and then you release it into the world, and then it becomes
theirs, not mine anymore. It's for me, it's important. It's when my friends tell me, Marc-Antoine, I'm super happy. I was wearing your fragrance and I got some compliments. I say, no, you were wearing your own fragrance. Yeah. You bought it. It's yours. It's not mine anymore. Like, I do not own it. I created it, but I do not own it. And that's important. We live with ourselves. I consider B603 as my fragrance because it's the one I'm wearing. It's the one that I have the most. When I smell it on someone else, it's this kind sometimes of thing. It smells like me. So I love it, and always in my team they're always saying, well, it's crazy because B603 is one of the most beautiful fragrances of the collection, but it doesn't have the same success as others, but probably because I don't push it too much. But and for personal reasons, but but all the others, Ganymede and Tilia, Aldebaran, Ganymede Extrait, B603 Extrait, they're not mine. They're the one I created it for others. B603 Extrait, I wear it sometimes at night in the evening, but the other ones are really made for people to wear it.
Absolutely. And I think that's a really lovely place to almost end on. But finally, my last question, and you may not be able to share much, but what does the future hold? Can you share anything about what you've got planned for the future?
Talking about the future, and I touch wood because it's in a process, and but I want to talk about it because it's been so long time we've talked about it, and at least so much time we've worked on it. And I was talking about it with Agnes here in the boutique in London. I hired Agnes when we were only 4 people working in the company, or 5 people working in the company when we opened the boutique in London. It was like a huge challenge to open the boutique in London, and it was a dream for me to do it. And now the company has grown a lot, and now we're about to open in New York.
Wow.
So which is another step, another kind of dream city. If London was a city, if London is a city that I'm dreaming of with really a vision of tales and things like that, New York is also a city where all the elegance of the 20th century grew, and where it was the city of all where everything feels possible to do, and so that's a great thing. It's going to take a bit of time, a bit more than 6 months probably for early next year, but it's a a new challenge, which I'm super happy to do. It's I cannot do it everywhere because I feel when you open a store, you have a responsibility because you have to either I have to create the experience as you're saying, and it needs to. I like it to be different in every store, but also it means I have personally to be there to take care of it, and to come back quite often. It's like I often say it. My brand is my first child, and each boutique is. I have a responsibility to it, so it's a big thing.
That's really exciting, and I can't wait because I know you said every single boutique is different. I can't wait to see what you dream up for New York.
Yeah, something different from the other stores and something, but it's going to be amazing.
Fantastic. Marc-Antoine, this has been such a pleasure to meet you and so fascinating to chat with you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
When I tell you that I could have spoken to Marc-Antoine for hours, I really mean it. It would have got to an embarrassing point where I would have had to have been thrown out of the boutique because I would have been chewing his ear off, because I just really enjoyed talking to him and hearing about his unique point of view. I think he approaches perfume in such a beautiful way because he really values connection in what he does. And it's clear to see that strong, authentic relationships have really helped him build such a beautiful brand with a bold, olfactory viewpoint. It's really refreshing. Now, if you haven't tried any of his fragrances, you absolutely must. I'd recommend starting with Ganymede. It might blow your mind a little bit. It certainly did mine. It smells like hot electric wires and glossy magazine pages, but also of salty skin and leather and apricots and outer space. It's a fascinating piece of work. I really, really enjoy it, and I find myself still trying to understand it when I wear it, even now when I've been wearing it for quite some time. So it's one of those fragrances that makes you think quite a bit. You can find out more about Marc-Antoine Barrois at marcantoinebarrois.com. You can also find the brand on Instagram at Marc-Antoine Barrois. And I really have to give myself kudos for saying his name that many times without screwing it up, because my French pronunciation is the worst on the planet. So you do not know how many times I've been sat in front of a mirror trying to say Barrois. It's an unhealthy amount. So I'm glad that I've managed to not completely butcher it. And if I have butchered it, please don't tell me, because I am a man hanging by a thread. I can't take that right now. I'm sorry. Just joking. I'm absolutely fine. That's it for this week. I will be back next week for yet another interesting discussion about scent with a fascinating person. So do tune in for that. A massive thank you to Carium, our sponsor for this episode. As you know, I am all about making fragrance and fragrance discovery more accessible, and Carium's innovative AI solution, the Scent Sommelier, offers an entirely new way to explore fragrance by translating scent into language, and you can find out more at www.carium.com. As usual, I'll hand over to our guest to tell us the fragrance they have an emotional connection with. After all, fragrance is an emotional art form. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can at Making Sense Makes Sense. But for now, I'll leave Marc-Antoine Barrois to have the final words, and I will see you next week.
So I have a strong emotional connection with one fragrance, which is Arpége of Lanvin, which, as I said before, is was the fragrance of my grandmother. And even though she was still there, I was not seeing her very often. I was talking to her on the phone very often. She's been very supportive, surprisingly very supportive in my project, in my family project, and in my work projects. And she left a year ago, and still now when I smell Arpège of Lanvin, she's like alive beside me, and I can share with her some things. So it's would probably be the fragrance that has influenced me the most, because it's also one of the fragrances I talked about to Quentin Bisch the first time I've met him, to tell him, well, a fragrance needs to be with a trail and long lasting, as Arpège is, because it's a signature, and it's a good way for people to recall it.